Okay, so here we are then for qualifying at Jerez, and it's a wet one here for the Spanish Grand Prix, so we have to see how things pan out, but a track that I do absolutely love in real life, and the one that I haven't driven yet on this game, so we're going to have to try and get to grips with this circuit, just like Kota, first time on this game, riding this track, so we're going to have to get a feel for it, learn some braking points, but crucially, it's in the wet, so it could affect us in the race if the race is dry, but hopefully we can have a good race, so we're going to jump right into qualifying first of all and see how far we can get our bike on the grid. Okay, so at the end of the first lap, 1.7 off the pace we was. I had to let Mir through in the final sector, so I lost a lot of time, exact same thing as what happened in Kota, but second lap round, I feel quite confident around here actually. I feel like I've got a bit of muscle memory around here, so I'm just going to go for it and see how the bike performs, but so far I've got good feelings, just like in Kota, around this circuit. Okay, so the end of my fourth lap I believe, and currently up on my personal best, not by a major amount as we come across the line, and it's going to be a small improvement, 1.2 off the pace, but I'm still struggling here to really get on top of the bike. I feel good on the bike, but I'm nowhere near the pace of the other guys, so I'm trying to think where to possibly gain time, but my laps, I'm satisfied with them, they feel good, so yeah, I just have to see how I can find some time around here, but right now things aren't looking great. Okay, one more corner to go. Let's just try and push this final corner as much as I can, pick up the toe of Suzuki in front of me, out of final corner on the pit straight, and let's just see how far we can bring this bike up the grid. It's a pretty good lap so far, I may tense off the pace, let's just see across the line how far behind we are, and it's going to be P12, so I believe that was a small improvement, so yeah, bit of an improvement on that final lap, so not too bad there, but crucially, still some 7/10 or so off the pace, so an okay lap, not too bad. That final sector was my best sector, so I actually went fastest in that final sector from what I can see. So 7/10 off the first place, even though we're down in P12, so that's not too bad. And we sort of saved it right at the end there. So I'll take P12, but we're now going to move into the race, and hopefully we can try and have a bit more better form and try and be a little bit quicker in that race session and try and crack into the top 5 or top 6. Right, so it's Sunday, but the track is wet, even though it's not raining. So, interesting mixed conditions here at Jerez with a wet track, but no rain in the air. So, this is going to make for a really tasty race. Luckily, it's not going to affect how the bike performs, because I'm used to how it works in the wet conditions based off of qualifying. So, hopefully we can try and have a good performance. But without further ado, let's jump right into the race. Okay, so I've done a few setup tweaks for the race based off of what I felt in qualifying. Hopefully, they work for us in this race. Right then, here we go. Round 4 of the season for 4 red lights. It's going to be lights out and away we go here at Jerez. Going to try and get a good start, which we actually have. We've had a pretty decent start for a change. Picking up the toe now as we go into the first corner for the first time this race. Going to be nice and late on the brakes, nice and aggressive. Take the inside line and they get on the power. Obviously, racing in the wet conditions is going to be interesting to see how things pan out, but the bike performs very different to how it does in the dry. Just got to be a bit more careful in certain areas as we get past Bastianini now going flat out through turn 3. Had a pretty good start so far up into P9. We now got Antonelli up ahead. He's having a good run through that corner, getting it nice and tight on the apex. I'm going a bit wide as we now got, I think that's Bastianini. No, that's Ertul getting back past me here as he goes up the inside. I'm going to try and hang it around the outside. Is it possible? It's very hard in motorbikes to go on the outside. I know I can't, but I'm going to get on the power nice and early and just floor it down this back straight. Here we go then, picking up the toe. I'm going to go into the heavy braking zone for the first time of 6 laps here at Jerez into the hairpin. Let's see how things go with the rest of the guys around me as I come in really hot on the brakes, really late on purpose to pick up the better line. But Rodrigo's actually put me off there as we go 4 wide momentarily on the exit of the corner. But so far, so good now behind Ertul. Let's try and keep up with him, if not get past him. Good run through that corner. And I've actually got on the grass a little bit, which is going to affect my line. But actually, I've pulled the bike back quite sweetly, actually. I'm going to run a bit wide through there, though, just about keeping it off the grass, and we're now going to filter it through this double apex right hand sort of a couple of 90-degree corners here at Jerez, and so far so good in this race. Obviously started P12, so up into P10, so that's a positive start and a positive opening lap. Right now let's see how much damage we can do in these conditions. Obviously in the wet I do feel like I've got a bit more advantage, even though qualifying didn't show it. I feel quite comfortable in these conditions, and also in Kota I felt pretty good as well, as we get a great run on Ertul into the final corner. We're going to slow one up the inside of Antonini, but we've just about kept it on the bike and we've not fallen off, luckily. So we've made the move and we're going to re-overtake Ertul on the exit of the final corner and pick up the traction, and we're up into P8 now. So quite a naughty move there, using Antonini as a brake, sorry, Antonelli, but as a brake. But here he goes, he's up my inside, but I'm going around the outside, having absolutely none of it. Getting on the power nice and early, and there we go. Antonelli's still trying to fight me though, as he's on my inside. I'm going to have to try and out-brake him as I go around the outside of turn 2. Can I make it stick? He's forcing me. He's really trying to get past, but I'm still going to hold it. There we go. Squeeze him out a little bit. Just keep him on the outside. Hang him out to dry. And I should have the better line through this corner. And Antonelli, though, going around my outside cleanly. Wow. So that's an incredible move there from the Italian rider. And now Ertel's getting back past me once again as I slide up the inside of him. And we're now going to try and get the power as soon as we can. We run out really, really wide this time onto the AstroTurf. So that's going to compromise my speed quite a bit down this back straight as Ertel gets back past me. And I'm back down to P10. But I've noticed I'm pretty good on the brakes into this hairpin. So I'm going to make it a bit of a lunge for it as we go up the inside of Ertel. A bit of contact once again, but making it work. Antonelli, they're making a move on, or trying to make a move. I think that's Finati who's going a bit wide. And I've got past Antonelli and now up the inside of Finati. Can we pull it off? Yes, we do. Beautiful stuff there. Up now into P7. So making a nice couple of moves, regaining some places here. Making my way through the field quite nicely in the bike. Just performing beautifully around here compared to the first two races. Also in Kota obviously winning the race. Antonelli back up my inside once again. So Antonelli seems to be making his way through the field with me this race as he makes a move for P7. Now we've got Finati getting a good exit out of that corner, but I'm just going to cut him off as we go into the final sector now towards the end of lap 2. We're going to try and keep up with Antonelli and possibly make a move into the hairpin as I get a good run through here, almost flat out. Good run on the Italian rider. I'm just going to try and match him on the brakes, if not beat him, as we go up the inside of the final corner. Look at that, beautiful stuff there, easily matching the AI. And we're now going to get the power and go and chase after John McPhee, who is the man up ahead of us for P6. But Antonelli, once again, that KTM bike, really good in a straight line as he re-overtakes me up the inside. I'm just going to have to sit behind him for now as he scrubs it a bit wide. We're going to try and go around the outside, but there's just no room through. And Antonelli makes the move, and he's still fighting me there for P7 as I go back up the inside of him in turn 2. Give him a bit of a barge, getting the elbows out there, letting him know that I'm having absolutely none of his business as we now actually have a pretty good exit. And I'm right on the back of McPhee once again now through this corner. Let's see if we can try and keep up with him, not let Antonelli back past, because that would be a bit of an issue. And no, Antonelli is still going to get back past me. I'm trying to break as late as I can, but Antonelli is really fighting me this race, and fair play to him, really giving me a good old scrap as we go onto the back straight now, midway through lap 3. This race is flying by compared to Kota, trying to pick up a bit of a toe, and let's see what we can do on the brakes into the hairpin once again here. Nice and late on the brakes, up the inside, dropping it down to first gear, just giving a nudge to Antonelli, making the move stick. McPhee running a bit wide, so we're going to try and capitalise on that by getting a good run through here if possible. Absolutely nail the apex, which we have done. Nice run on the power. That bike up ahead's going a bit wide. We're going to go up the inside of McPhee. Just about thought of going for the move, but I couldn't pull it off. However, McPhee's run a bit wide. We're going to come back on the track side by side. Can I go around the outside of him? Not quite. Or can I? Yes, I can. McPhee's holding it, and there we go. McPhee eventually does hold the inside line beautifully. So this is a great battle here at Jerez in these conditions. Going to try and keep up with these guys and see if we can make a move in the next coming corners. I know I'm pretty good through this next right-hander, so let's just try and stay with these guys. Get a good run through here. Carry some good speed. Don't run out into the AstroTurf. There we go, just about keeping it. And we're now going to try and slide one on the brakes. Can we go for it on McPhee? Oh, it's going to be close. We've tapped him, but we have made it work. Getting up on the power nice and early. And there we go, up into P6. And we're now behind Canet once again, who we had a few battles with in the first couple of races. Right in his slipstream as we go into lap 4 of 6. McPhee looking to make a move up the inside once again of turn 1. And he does actually pull it off beautifully, to be fair. But I'm going to slice right back underneath. And look at that. Absolutely fantastic move. Using the gears to try and get past him. And now we can try and focus on Canet if possible. Getting a good bit of traction out of there. Can we go around the outside of him? Yes, we do. Beautiful move. And we're now up into P5. So this bike, as the track begins to dry, you can see the tarmac getting a bit dry every single lap. We're making the moves here, and this bike's performing better as the conditions dry up, as Canet goes back up my inside, and also McPhee trying to look to get back past me now. Getting on the power now. Oh no, this is going to be dangerous. On 3 wide onto the straight. McPhee makes the move, and look at this. Brilliant racing here. And they're going to try and slide to the inside, switch to the inside line. Maybe get McPhee on the brakes into the hairpin, which should be a fairly simple move. Sliding the bike, pulling it down for the apex. Holding on to P5. There we go. We can now chase after Migno, who is the man in front of us. We need to get a good run through here. This is crucial, and we have done. We've got a great run through there to try and put some separation between us and the bikes behind. And missed the apex ever so slightly through there. McPhee's going to have a sniff up the inside, but I've got him around the outside on just the traction alone. I'm just going to cover the inside through this next right-hander here. Just make sure McPhee doesn't make a move. If I can hold on to his P5, that would be fantastic. We have 2 more laps to go when we cross the line. So let's just keep it going. The front end on the bike coming up a little bit through there, but we are going to pull it off. Just going to try filter it through this next section. We should have a bit of separation now through this next corner if we get a good run through here. I've cut the corner a little bit. Actually, no, I haven't. absolutely nailed the apex instead. Beautiful move. And now into the final corner. The track's drying out very quickly here, so I wonder how the bikes are going to perform. We have to start looking for the wet part of the track to try and keep these tyres alive, because I wonder if that affects the tyres in this game, because obviously I'm not a regular for MotoGP, so I don't know if the wet line affects the tyres or not. But here we go into turn 1. I think McPhee's trying to have a sniff up the inside again, but I'm taking the early apex to try and cover any sort of attack up my inside. But Antonelli's still making the move, and this guy just won't go away. I'm going to go back up his inside. I'm having none of it. Like I said before, I'm not going to let him get and disturb my rhythm. So back up the inside of Antonelli, not letting him get past me here as we go on to lap 5. And now going to try and chase after Migno, just shutting the inside on Antonelli, not letting him through at any opportunity. But I think he's going to try and have a sniff here. I'm not particularly great into this corner. However, we've once again covered the inside beautifully, and Antonelli's going to have to sit behind us for a little bit longer as we go onto the back straight. And I think now will be a good opportunity for a couple of bikes to get past us. And look at this, McPhee and Antonelli trying to make a move. I'm going to the inside to go a bit defensive and sort of just cover my territory a bit. On the brakes, into the hairpin, McPhee looking around the outside, but no use through there. And look at the track, absolutely almost bone dry now on the racing line, so could get really tricky on these tyres. The tyres could start to struggle. I can feel I'm starting to understeer a little bit, so maybe the last lap could be pretty hard on these tyres, especially because I'm burning mine out a little bit. But let's just try and keep it going. So far the bike still feels okay, a little bit of understeer, but nothing major. So we just keep it going now for 1.5 more laps, which should be okay for a top 6 finish, which is what I'm looking for. So let's just try and keep it going. I want to try and catch Migno, but he's got some pretty good pace in that bike, so I think it's going to be quite hard to catch him. I just need to get a little bit closer. If I nail this next section, then I've got half a chance going on to the last lap of the race. And so far, so good, just flicking it through this next right-hander. Nice run through there. And now I've got to be as late as I dare on the brakes into this final corner to try and gain some major time. And there we go, that's exactly what I needed. Getting on the power, nice and early, squatting it on and going up through the gears. And there we go, we've had a pretty good exit out of there, and we shouldn't be under threat from behind into the first corner for a change. So now we can try and focus on what's ahead of us and not behind us as we go into the last lap of the race here at Jerez. Going to try and get a nice bit of speed into that first corner on the power, nice and early in first gear, short shift into second, drop it a gear for turn 2, get that apex, try and brake as late as you can on the power, nice and early. I think we've got Joan Mir, and that might be I'm not sure who that might be Martin, possibly battling out for second place, or yeah, second place. So right now, good first sector from us. We put a bit of separation from the bike behind, who's Antonelli, and we're just going to try and push this next right-hander as we go onto the straight for the final time this race, picking up the power nice and early. Come on, let's try and pick up some toe on Migno and try and catch him. Going to push the brakes really, really hard into this next corner, into the hairpin to try and gain some time. Nice and late on the brakes. I'm on the curb, which isn't ideal, but slowing it all down, bringing it down for the apex beautifully there on the power, nice and early. And okay, now we're nice and close. Antonelli's following me, and I think he's dragging everyone else along with him, but crucially, I'm closer to Migno than what Antonelli is to me as I get all out of shape, just about keeping it off the grass. And Migno is going to be under threat from me now in these last couple of corners as I get a good, nice, tight line through there, actually. Going to be right on the back of the Italian rider as we go into the final sector. Oh, just running a bit deep there. That's not ideal. Almost hit the back of Migno. Almost fell off. I can feel my controller vibrating like mad. Going to pick up the traction through here. We've got a couple more corners to go. If I nail this next section, now I've got a chance of getting past Migno. And that's exactly what I've done. I've had a nice tight line through there. And now through here, let's see if we can pick up the run. Going to get nice and tight on the apex. Good run on Migno. We're going to pull to the inside. Can we get him on the brakes? Into the final corner. Migno's going to go nice and tight. He's actually pretty good on the brakes, to be fair. I'm going to pick up the traction nice and early. Let's try and go through the gears as we go out of the exit of the final corner. Picking up the toe across the line. Can we get Migno? I don't think we can. And no, we can't. It's going to be P5 for Jerez. But it's still an absolutely brilliant race and a great result from P12 on the grid. And these two races, compared to the previous two from the first in the season, have been much better. And for the second race in a row, we got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So you have to wonder, are we starting to find a little bit of pace in this Mahindra machine? I mean, look where the nearest Mahindra is in P19. So I'm doing absolute wonders on this bike. And you have to wonder, maybe sometime mid-season we might get some offers for some different teams. But that was Jerez, a brilliant P5. That's exactly what I wanted at the start of the race. I said I wanted a top 6 finish or a top 5 finish, and that's exactly what I've got. So things are looking really good for us right now, and we're going to move now swiftly on to the next race. But first of all, we're going to see how the drivers and constructors standings look like, and I'm currently in P7, 23 points off of Canet, so that's not too bad. We're still sort of in the mix there, so that's not too shabby. And we're behind our fierce rival Nicolo Antonelli on the KTM machine. And finally looking at the constructors, Mahindra there, thanks to me last race getting the race win, we've gained a few points on KTM, but we're still quite a far bit behind, and Peugeot still on a big fat 0 there in the constructors. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode, and we'll be back in the next one. And I believe the next race is going to be possibly Mugello. I'm not sure. I don't really know the MotoGP calendar off by heart, but my guess would be Mugello or possibly Catalonia. I'm not sure. Either way, we're going to move into the next race to see how we can get on in that Grand Prix.